Hello, back again on the Top Recap channel. This time I will tell a Korean movies entitled Mission Possible. Let's get straight into the storyline. The story begins by showing a large-scale smuggling of firearms carried out in China to be brought to South Korea. However, the government knew the action, so several policemen were sent to intercept the truck containing the weapons. Unfortunately, all the police were slaughtered that night. The Chinese government is very serious about dealing with this problem. They don't even hesitate to kill people involved in the smuggling. The government will finally send one of the trainees to South Korea to solve this problem secretly. The scene then moves to a private detective named Soo-han. At that time, Soo-han was visited by a woman named Min Young. Min Young's arrival was to return the hospital fees that Soo-han had paid. Soo-han initially rejected it and said that Min Young didn't need to return it because he had a lot of money. But suddenly, the landlord came and collected the rent from Soo-han. Soo-han pretended to have transferred it through the bank. It was discovered that Min Young was the wife of his dead ex-partner. The scene then moves to a Chinese restaurant in South Korea. A meeting occurred between Agent Chow from China and an agent still in training. The woman was given a fake identity with the name Yu Da-hee. Her mission this time was to catch an arms smuggler who ran from China to South Korea. After that, Agent Chow went to see Agent Ama, a South Korean secret agent. The goal is to ask for help unofficially to catch weapons smugglers. After negotiating, Agent Ama finally agreed to help, with a deal if he would be introduced to a Russian informant. At that time, a special session was being held for the audience with their partners. Accidentally, they were both caught on camera and given cheers to kiss each other. After that, Agent Ama met Soo-han to rent his place at a high price.
난 그냥 지난번처럼 여기 한 달만 빌리러 온 건데 현금으로 찾아올 테니까.
On the way home, Agent Ama saved a baby carriage belonging to an old lady who slipped into the road. But after that, Agent Ama was hit by a truck, while the baby carriage only contained puppies. The next day, Da-hee is given an address that leads to Soo-han's place to meet a secret agent who will help carry out the mission this time. Da-hee was forbidden to say that they worked together. In the end, Da-hee thought that Soo-han was the secret agent who would work with her. Soo-han, who saw the money Da-hee offered, automatically followed Da-hee's instructions to get the high pay. At that time, Soo-han still didn't know what work he had to do. Da-hee explained that this place was unsafe to explain her mission, but Soo-han said it was very safe. So Da-hee started to explain her mission this time, but suddenly, the landlord reappeared to collect the rent. Da-hee's money was automatically used to pay for the place for the next 3 months. After that, Da-hee returned to explaining the group of armed smugglers. But again, someone reappeared. This time, it's a mom asking for help finding her missing child. It turns out that the person in question is a dog named Dorothy. The mother also rewarded a pig-shaped gold bar, which certainly made Soo-han interested in this case. Soo-han promised to search and find Dorothy. After that, Da-hee again explained that the target was Park Do-shik, who allegedly played a role in arms smuggling. After hearing that explanation, Soo-han felt it wasn't his job. Soo-han also realized that Da-hee wasn't a cop, but a special force. He plans to run away if things get worse, and Da-hee starts to doubt Soo-han and will run away too if things get worse. Da-hee plans to dance with Park Do-shik to get his cell phone for information. Before leaving, Soo-han reminds Da-hee to wear a dress. The next day, Da-hee came wearing a dress, but the others only wore ordinary clothes. Of course, it was Soo-han's prank. They attended dance class and were waiting for Park Do-shik's arrival. Not long after Do-shik arrived at the place, Da-hee tries to break away from her dancing partner so she can pair up with Do-shik. Da-hee was finally able to dance with Do-shik. She skillfully transferred Do-shik's cell phone onto Soo-han's pants. It was a flip phone, so Soo-han couldn't copy the phone's contents. Soo-han only had time to read the message on the cell phone. After that, Soo-han tried to return the phone to Do-shik's pants. Long story short, Do-shik got a call from someone, but suddenly, a mysterious man stabbed Do-shik's neck with a needle and made Do-shik dead. Da-hee tried to invite Soo-han to leave the place immediately, but Soo-han felt it unnecessary, because if they run away, it will increase the police's suspicion of them. But they had to be taken to the police station for interrogation. Du-shik's cause of death was finally known to be a heart attack, so Su-han and Da-hee were finally released. However, the police captain ordered his officers to keep an eye on Su-han and Da-hee. Finally, their disguise this time was in vain, because Su-han did not get any information from Du-shik's cell phone. Da-hee also reported that her partner was not a secret agent. Agent Chow then said that Agent Ama's talent was keeping his identity a secret, so that no one would know he was a secret agent. Meanwhile, Agent Ama was seen being hospitalized. The hospital can't figure out his identity. The nurse said she had seen him on YouTube. His video was trending during a baseball game.
신분증도 없고요. 휴대폰에 아무 기록이 없대요.
Last night, the rodeo clan boss was shot dead. Da-hee suspects contraband weapons have spread to the mafia and gangsters. To find that information, Su-han asked Da-hee for 2 million won. In the end, Su-han takes Da-hee to a fortune teller, but the fortune teller knows the ins and outs of the gangster world that is happening right now. He also said that the rodeo clan will not supply weapons, only the Axe clan will likely do that. 2 years ago, the Axe clan had a feud with the Chinese gang. Before leaving, they drank the juice the fortune teller gave, but it turned out to be expired. This time, Da-hee's goal was to investigate the Axe clan. Feeling it was a dangerous act, Su-han refused. But after getting ridiculed by Da-hee, Su-han belittled Da-hee back and challenged her to hit him.
나한테 맞으면 도끼팔 가는 거.
After that, they went to see the chief of the Axe clan. Su-han handcuffed him with his favorite handcuffs. In the middle of the conversation, a horde of people suddenly attacked the place. Su-han knocked out one of them, but Su-han was accidentally shot. But Da-hee finally realized that it was the blood from his previous nosebleed. After that, they left with the Axe clan leader's cell phone. Meanwhile, the Axe clan troops who found out that the chief had died were furious. Judging from the previous attack, Da-hee was sure they were professional killers. Su-han feels like he has to ask for help because this case is too dangerous. But after being promised 10 million won, Su-han gets excited again. This time, they meet one of Su-han's friends to ask for help opening the Axe clan leader's cell phone. With his hacking skills, they get an address that might be related to weapons smuggling.
제가 문자로 보내드릴게요.
네.
On the way, Da-hee suddenly got a stomachache from drinking expired juice. Long story short, they have arrived at their destination. Da-hee rushed to the bathroom to remove the remaining juice from her body. Meanwhile, the police were checking the location of the attack on the Axe clan. After checking the CCTV, the police found Su-han and Da-hee. The police chief believes that they have an ulterior motive. Meanwhile, Da-hee accidentally found a dead body in the bathroom. It is suspected that the victim died 3 days ago. After checking his identity, the victim is Kim Young-guk, a security chief and arms smuggling broker. In Young-guk's cell phone, clues were found again with a list of executives named Jun-hoon. Su-han also remembered Du-shik's threatening message to Director Jun-hoon. They are now beginning to discover that Director Jun-hoon is behind the arms smuggling. It is also known that Director Jun-hoon will hold a celebration at the hotel tomorrow. Da-hee and Su-han plan to sneak into the celebration to investigate Director Jun-hoon. But it turns out that their movements were caught in the surveillance of South Korean intelligence. Da-hee's identity has been identified with the real name Wang Ai-ling. Captain Ji-hoon was convinced that China sent a rookie agent to blame South Korean intelligence if anything happened. At that time, they were waiting for a report on the agent working with Da-hee. However, they realized that Su-han was not their agent. On the other hand, Su-han was playing with Do Do-ho, who is Min Young's son. Min Young asked Su-han to stay away from her son. Su-han had previously left Min Young's husband, who was dying during a special operation in Thailand. Because of that incident, Min Young's husband died. Meanwhile, the police chief is angry because the guard doesn't recognize his new car. On the other hand, Da-hee and Su-han have come to the hotel to attend the celebration there. Su-han had previously reported to the police about the dead body found, so the police conducted a crime scene at the place. It wasn't long before Director Jun-hoon arrived. Su-han and Da-hee confessed that they were from Puerto Rico. By giving a greeting, Da-hee put a wiretap on Director Jun-hoon's shirt. It wasn't long before one of his men told him about the arrival of the Axe clan. Long story short, the Axe clan came to take revenge for the death of their leader. Director Jun-hoon, the chief of the Rodeo clan, tried to incite the Axe clan. He said that if the Axe clan and the Rodeo clan fought, it would benefit the Gangbu clan. Hearing that, the Axe clan was sure that it was the Gangbu clan that had killed its chairman. To take revenge on Clan Gangbu, the Axe clan will order 100 pistols from Clan Rodeo. Their conversation was clearly heard by Da-hee. It wasn't long before Director Jun-hoon's troops realized that Suhan was the man who had interrupted the attack on the Axe clan. Hearing that made Da-hee panic because their cover was blown, in contrast to Suhan, who was enjoying a luxurious meal there. When they were about to escape, they had to face Director Jun-hoon's troops. Da-hee had to fight a big man. She kept hitting him with a cow bone until he fainted, while Suhan had to fight 3 men. Despite defeating the enemy, they still had to surrender. In the end, they were interrogated by Director Jun-hoon. Suhan, as a private detective, admitted that he was invited by Da-hee to find Kim Young-guk, who had been killed earlier. He argued that his presence at the Axe clan headquarters was only to find Kim Young-guk. Director Jun-hoon promised to release them, but they had to do something for Director Jun-hoon. Suhan was asked to kill all the police in his office.
저기 지구대 보이지?
But after seeing Min Young there, Suhan fought back and ran away. The incident certainly made the police act immediately. Suhan immediately returned to the hotel to pick up Da-hee, but unfortunately, Da-hee was not there. Suhan also had to be caught by the police who surrounded the place. As a result, Suhan was taken to the police station for interrogation. Suhan claimed to have cooperated with South Korean intelligence to catch weapons smugglers, but the police chief didn't believe him and told Suhan to call his partner. Despite saying his partner was arrested, Suhan still had to call Da-hee. Da-hee unexpectedly answered the phone as if everything was fine. Da-hee said she was on her way home. Hearing that, the police chief felt it was impossible for South Korean intelligence to cooperate with private agents. It wasn't long before South Korean intelligence arrived there. Ji-hoon thanked Suhan for leading his rescue operation in Thailand. In the past, Suhan was the leader of Special Forces 707. To get into the 707th is very difficult, and Suhan is a close combat instructor. From the meeting, Suhan discovered that Da-hee was not a South Korean agent, but an agent from China.
중국 MSS 요원입니다.
Da-hee was deliberately sent to South Korea to carry out a mission, only to be sacrificed. This made Suhan remember the rescue operation in Thailand that sacrificed his friend, so Suhan intends to save Da-hee at all costs. Meanwhile, Ji-hoon doesn't care about the dealings of foreign agents, as long as it doesn't harm his country. As a former Special Forces officer, Suhan easily breaks out of the interrogation room and takes one of the policemen hostage. In the end, the police chief had to give up his new car for the safety of his partner. Unfortunately, the guard immediately opened the gate, thinking it was the chief, so Suhan could leave. On the previous call, Da-hee gave the location code by mentioning the food names and numbers. Suhan asked his hacker friend to find the address of the building. At this time, Da-hee had been taken hostage by Director Jun-hoon. The Axe clan is also there to do an arms deal. Director Jun-hoon will hand Da-hee to the Axe clan as a weapons test.
총알 한 기본 8발씩 들어있어. 재밌네.
Elsewhere, the chairman was saddened to lose his new car. The police are also checking information about Suhan. They now know that Suhan is a former Special Forces 707 who was dismissed for disobeying orders. Suhan has sneaked into Director Jun-hoon's headquarters to free Da-hee, but his actions are discovered, so the fight is inevitable. Suhan's skills in close combat certainly overwhelmed the opponent. Director Jun-hoon realized there was an intruder in his place. Ultimately, the Axe clan offered to capture the intruders as a weapons test. Da-hee and Suhan must fight the Axe clan and Director Jun-hoon's troops. In the middle of the fight, Suhan finally got news from the police that the Dorothy he was looking for had been found. After that, the fight resumed. Suhan and Da-hee defeated all the Axe clan troops and Director Jun-hoon's troops. Da-hee was caught, but they quickly turned the tables and defeated him. Meanwhile, Suhan had to fight fiercely against Director Jun-hoon's troops, who were quite reliable. But still, Suhan was able to defeat him. At the end of the fight, they had to fight one more Director Jun-hoon's troops. At first, Suhan was invited to duel, but because he didn't understand the language, Suhan accidentally shot him. In the end, Director Jun-hoon was caught and put in prison with the Axe clan. While Suhan must also take responsibility for all the mess he made. Ji-hoon then offered Suhan to join South Korean intel to carry out the mission so he would be released. Suhan refused at first, but finally, he agreed to join for 100 million won. In another place, Min Young's son has been treated as a cancer patient. Suhan secretly paid off the cancer surgery that had to be paid so that the operation could be carried out immediately. Meanwhile, South Korean agents will conduct joint operations with Chinese agents. Suhan and Da-hee meet again to conduct a secret mission regarding Dorothy's disappearance. It turns out that Dorothy is the code name of a former Russian informant. The information should have been conveyed to Agent Amma, but neither Dorothy nor Agent Amma can be contacted now. Dorothy used to hide the micro SD in a gold bar to hand over information, but the pig-shaped gold bar given by Dorothy has been sold by Suhan. Suhan has sold the gold bar, which means that the micro SD might be inside the gold bar. This time, Suhan and Da-hee's mission was to disguise themselves as a couple to infiltrate the place where Agent Amma and Dorothy might be kept. Even though Agent Amma is currently hospitalized, ultimately, they have prepared and will soon go to Russia to carry out the mission. This time, Suhan invited Da-hee to dress very strangely and conspicuously. Thinking that the big ship would be his ride, Suhan and Da-hee boarded it. But it turns out they will board a small boat to make it easier to infiltrate.
있어요?
가봐야 알아.
At the movie's end, there is an additional credit scene where Agent Amma, who is in the hospital, meets Dorothy. However, due to amnesia, Agent Amma decides to run away and is accidentally hit by an ambulance. And the movie is over. Don't forget to click subscribe, like and comment.